Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continually teach us this truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's laboring in his word and truth and sincerity. This is going to be a real quick video. Okay, there is no peace except the Lord unto the wicked. All right? Because what's happening right now, Israel is breaking a ceasefire. All right, and Israel is divided with Babylon because I was seeing reports of, I forget the guy name, but he's a top guy in Israel, and he mentioned how they wasn't even a part of the ceasefire agreement because the U.S., Babylon the Great, has, agreed to a 2-week ceasefire with Iran, and a part of the ceasefire is that Israel wouldn't hit Lebanon. But Bibi done already said, nah, man, we gonna keep hitting them. And as you see right here, breaking news, Israel carried out a large wave of airstrikes across Lebanon, including Beirut. Targets included the emergency headquarters of Hezbollah's Secretary General. Red Cross says over 300 people were killed or injured in Beirut alone. Then you see right here, says Netanyahu is currently destroying the truce between Iran and the U.S. by massive attacks on civilians in Lebanon. Iran has, that's a typo, no other option but to continue the war on Israel because leaving Lebanon alone will backfire. So it's a lot going on, man. Okay? It's a lot going on, and I knew when they came up with this ceasefire, I knew it wasn't going to last. All right. And even if it did last, it's just time to restock, replenish ammo. And, Iran should know by now not to trust the West. All right. Because most likely they're going to do another preemptive attack and kill some higher ups in Iran. All right. And, reports are saying that China, heavily influenced this ceasefire, but them tiny talks, man, they ain't no ceasefire, But I quoted this. Let me grab it real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 48, verse 22. There is no peace except the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, unto the wicked. All right, and we know who the wicked is. Okay, the Edomites. Okay, which are you so-called white people. Okay, we're in the end of your power structure. We're in the end of your heaven on earth. All right, we're in the end of your rulership. All right. And as we've been bringing out, I'm going to grab it. Like I said, real quick video. Just wanted to put this update out there if brothers haven't came across it yet. Okay. Because Israel is doing exactly what this scripture says they would do. Because no matter what, Babylon is going to come to their aid. Babylon is not going to say, well, Israel, you're on your own. Nope. They're going to help no matter what. And BB is running this shit. Okay? He's making all the shots, which we know he's doing the will of his higher-ups. Ultimately the Most High is controlling, BB and Trump. Everyone is controlled by the Most High. Scriptures say the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. He turneth it whithersoever he will. So we know the Most High is doing this because we're not in the time of peace. Okay? And that's why the scriptures, matter of fact, before I grab this, let me grab this and let me grab this before I grab that quick video. All right. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Okay. So we're not in the time of peace and safety, of things returning back to normal. Okay, no, man, we're in the time of war. All right. And this war is not going to end. Now, I believe it could I mean, it's just not looking like it's gonna die down. But we know the MOTB has to be made mandatory before nukes go off. And I was meditating. I fully see why the scriptures say in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, that there will be a great shaking in the land of Israel. It makes total sense, which that's going to be caused by the nukes. But why I'm saying it makes total sense is because I'm seeing reports that, not only did Colonel Douglas McGregor himself say, Putin made it clear to Bibi that if they nuke Iran, Russia will nuke Israel, but it came out that China and Pakistan said that if Israel nukes Iran, that they would nuke Israel. Okay? So it makes all the sense that it could get to a point, once the MOTB is made mandatory, once it's pushed, throughout a majority of the earth, which, they're building these AI data centers in all these different states. I was just seeing an article on that, on how many they're building in each state right now. I believe South Carolina, it said like 12 of them. So, it ain't going to take long, but I believe that when it does get to the point where the chip is made mandatory and the nukes go off, I believe them tiny tots going to be the ones to shoot off first. And then everyone else, China, Russia, Pakistan, North Korea, they gonna blow them tiny tops, man. They gonna blow it to smithereens. And then they're gonna be forced to shoot at America at that point, because they know America's gonna retaliate for that. All right. But this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. We know this isn't talking about ancient Babylon. Ancient Babylon today is Iraq. This is talking about New Babylon, which is America. Babylon just means confusion. And of course, it's not going to say America. If it said America, man, we wouldn't even have the Bible. So, we know this is talking about America. For those that have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, it says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. And that's what them tiny tots is doing, man. They're the whole reason, and the whole world is saying it. The whole world can see it. They're the whole reason why, Babylon got dragged into this war. And now, that Babylon has agreed to a 2-week ceasefire. What is those tiny tops doing? Bombing the shit out of Lebanon. They're saying, like I read in that article, about 300 people killed, man. So, hey, they're doing exactly what this scripture say. So, we're going to stay on our watch. We're going to keep seeing how the Lord is bringing this thing to pass. Because I ain't going to lie, when they agreed to that 2-week ceasefire, I was a little bit like, damn, what the fuck? But, hey, the Lord ain't letting up. And even if they did do it, a 2-week ceasefire, it's just to replenish. All right. So like I said, just a quick video. We ain't in the time of peace. All right. But with that, shalom.